Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So, happy Monday. But unfortunately, we're starting out the week with a little sell pressure, or I should say major sell pressure, with Bitcoin and crypto. Is it from this one major exchange, Binance? We have a lot of data that shows that, but it could be from another source that I will show you guys today as well. So let's get to it. Let's look at everything that's going on today. And I think a lot of people don't realize, I didn't even know this, right after the Bybit hack, there was another bank, there was a stablecoin bank that was hacked too, and they lost $50 million. Obviously, this is a drop in the bucket compared to 1.5 billion, but nevertheless, it is still $50 million. So it does show you that self-custody is important. Okay, a lot of people now, especially now, only store their crypto on centralized exchanges. You got to learn how to self-custody your own crypto. Leaving a little bit on exchanges because you want to trade is fine. But if you leave all of it on exchange, you're asking for trouble. In the case of Bybit, they're able to recover because they're huge. Great. But in the past, we have seen many exchanges not able to recover. And you don't want to be in that situation, right? I don't know this Infinity Bank, if they were able to recover or not. I don't really know. But, you know, you just have to be careful. And there are so many choices out there, so many wallets out there. They're absolutely free that you can download. You just have to learn it. But you got to give Bybit a lot of credit. Even this big hack happened, and I mentioned this many times, their CEO, Ben, you know, he was very active. He wasn't hiding. They're able to restore their reserves. One way or another, they restored it. Okay. They didn't even withdraw. They didn't even stop withdrawals, which is amazing. So it was reported they had what, 6.7 billion in withdrawals. So think about it, 6.7 billion withdrawal on top of the 1.46 billion that was stolen. You add it up, you had almost 8 billion taken away, and they're still doing fine, right? So you got to applaud them for that. So they had the foresight to have funds and stuff in case something like this happened. So that's good. But obviously, whatever happened is still bad. Any hack that happens is not good, especially this amount. And 1.4 billion right now, the latest is the hackers, Lazarus, is doing what they can. They're changing into ETH, they're changing to the Sol, they're changing into memes, they're changing into whatever, and they're trying to sell in any way possible. Okay. So that may be the reason why now we're getting reports about Binance. So Binance, there's a lot of activity right now. This started last night, and it's no coincidence because last night is when everything got weak, especially Solana, because of a lot of FUD around Solana right now, and they're getting absolutely decimated. But look at this, like, Binance Hot Wallet, this was like 12 hours ago, or no, 10 hours ago. You see Binance sending a ton of ETH, like every single minute they're sending, every 5 minutes they're sending like 3 million ETH to a market maker, basically Wintermute, to be sold. Here's another one, basically every single hour they're sending 1 million or 2 million SOL to Wintermute to be sold. This is all from Binance's hot wallet. And these were like from like 6-7 hours ago. And then I just checked out Rover. He was posting, this was just from an hour ago. They have not stopped. It's still ongoing for both. But it's hurting Sol a lot more than ETH right now. But nevertheless, it's still happening. This is probably the reason why everything is super weak right now and is bringing down everything. Don't know why this is happening. Maybe, I'm only speculating here, okay? There's probably one or two reasons happening. Number one, these are hot wallets. So it could be that these are funds of customers. I have a hard time believing that though, because this is so coordinated. It's like every hour this is being done. And it's massive amount every hour. So I don't think these are like customers that are selling this much every single hour. Number two is I'm speculating they may be selling because they feel like the hackers are converting the funds into ETH and SOL to be sold off. So they're trying to protect themselves by selling off ETH and SOL ahead of time to kind of protect themselves. And it is definitely decimating everything right now. It's causing everything to go down. And it looks like we did just lose all of our gains, which is not funny, but it kind of relates to what the first source I'm going to state. So according to research, 44% of inflows to these ETFs are long-term, which, you know, if you think about, isn't bad. But that also means 56% are short-term, okay? And according to this research by this company called 10x Research, primarily all the short-term inflows were basically hedge funds that were doing arbitrage. They were trading, okay? Basically, they were looking at trends and they were trading, and that was the reason. They didn't really believe in Bitcoin. They didn't really believe in the shift, and they truly didn't understand, not like Sailor or any of us that believes in long-term holding. So they were just buying because it was cool. And it made sense because it was the hottest thing for a long time. That's why they bought. But now, according to 10x Research, now that Bitcoin has stabilized and the funding rates and the spreads are too low for them to really successfully arbitrage, and we have seen it, especially with all the volatility and the manipulation now that's going on, right? According to that, many trading firms have stopped adding and are actively unwinding their existing positions. So, are they the source of our weakness right now? I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, looking at ETF outflows, I haven't looked at this for a while. It does look like for 4 consecutive days, we had major outflows. We had a good inflow day before that, and then 4 out. So we had like basically 2 weeks of outflow. But you know, Friday, this should have been an inflow day because we had a really good day on Friday until the hack happened. So I don't know. This is still just short term. It's not like we had 2 months of nothing but outflows. Okay. If we had like straight consecutive 2 months of outflows, okay, I could see how, yeah, everyone on Wall Street is now starting to actively dump. That is not the case, right? I've mentioned many times that Wall Street, I believe, a lot of people on Wall Street are very reactionary. They do treat Bitcoin as a risk-on asset. And whenever something scary happens, especially with the economic data that comes out, they do tend to sell, just like tech stock, right? So this actually makes a lot of sense. 56% of Wall Street, they do treat Bitcoin as a trade, as like a tech trade. So if something does scare them, they'll just sell it off. You have the 1%ers, and then you got everyone else, right? And the 1%ers are the ones that are not going to get fooled by the distractions, or they're the ones that are causing the distractions. And the 1%ers could be not just like people, they could be like the asset managers like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, these guys. So while everyone else is panicking and deciding what to do and fighting and panic selling and trading, guess what they're doing? They're loading up. A lot of times, if you just don't get why something's happening, just think about who benefits the most.